In President Biden's national address last month, he urged lawmakers to pass a major police reform bill before the first anniversary of George Floyd's death. That anniversary is tomorrow, and there's still no deal in sight. This comes as we're learning more about a horrific incident of fatal police brutality towards yet another black man. Last week, the Associated Press published body camera footage from Louisiana in 2019 of the death of Ronald Green in police custody after the 49-year-old failed to pull over for an unspecified traffic violation. The 46-minute-long footage was obtained by the AP after authorities refused to release it for 2 years. Friday night, Louisiana police released 9 body camera and dash cam videos after saying the AP videos didn't show the full context. The videos depict police stunning, punching, and choking Green as he apologizes for leading them on a high-speed car chase. Now, I want to warn you, the video you're about to see is extremely disturbing.
Okay, I'm scared. Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back, mother. Let me see your hands. Put your hands behind your back.
At one point, Green tries to roll over, but was ordered to stay on his belly.
Don't you turn over. All right. Don't you turn over. You lay on your belly. Lay on your belly.
As the AP story points out, police are highly discouraged from leaving handcuffed suspects in a prone position, a point made repeatedly at the Derek Chauvin trial. One police officer, Chris Hollingsworth, was recorded on camera talking about what he had just done to Green.
I beat the ever-living out of him, choked him, and everything else trying to get him under control.
Hollingsworth later died in a single-vehicle highway crash that happened hours after he learned he would be fired for his role in the Green case. Ultimately, Green was left without medical assistance for more than 9 minutes, and by the time he got to the hospital, he was dead. Police initially told Green's family that he died on impact after crashing into a tree, which did not happen. And just this afternoon, the AP reported on what they call the strongest evidence yet of an attempted cover-up, noting that the ranking Louisiana State Police officer at the scene falsely told internal investigators that the black man was still a threat to flee after he was shackled, and he denied the existence of his own body camera video for nearly 2 years until it emerged last month. Joining me now is Mark Claxton, retired NYPD detective and director of the Black Law Enforcement Alliance. And Mark, I watched you on with my friend Alex Witt this weekend, where you called this a good old-fashioned Louisiana lynching. I've seen multiple cases. You can go back decades to cases in Miami and the Rodney King case where a high-speed chase results in officers who are all amped up on adrenaline who just haul off and beat the crap out of whoever it was they were chasing. Is that what you think happened here, or something else?
I think that is part of what happened here. And you know, I watched that video and I became so disturbed by it and I felt as if just discussing it in terms of the conversation that's around the nation about police reform was totally inadequate. What this was just that, an old-fashioned Louisiana lynching. And we need to talk about it in terms of it being a crime and criminals committing this crime, this murder that occurred on videotape. I think we can't afford to have these discussions and oversimplify them. This was a lynching that occurred, and videotape evidence is there to support that. And criminals should be apprehended and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Anything short of that is inadequate and insufficient. And this is not the first time, and it won't be the last time. And it's based on our responses to these type of incidents.
And I mean, the thing is that, you know, what you say is not really hyperbole. I mean, what is a lynching? It's an extrajudicial killing by people who are hopped up on adrenaline, you know, and fueled by racial animus, just deciding, I'm just going to kill this person. You had one officer who is now dead brag that I beat the living crap out of him. He was proud of it. But the thing that's even more disturbing is the lying for 2 years. Is putting out a fake police report, telling his family he died in a car crash. How common is it in your, you know, just looking at the way that these cases play out, for police to just be dishonest when they file reports when someone dies?
It's all too common, and we're seeing evidence of that coming out, it seems like, on a weekly basis. But it also exposes what that incestuous relationship between police and prosecutors, between police agencies and the district attorney's offices, local district attorney's offices, how you can't have this level of a cover-up occur, a 2-year span of period of time, and not recognize the collusion that exists and the combination of forces involved in creating this reality, this harsh reality that places Black lives in increased danger and guarantees that there will be additional loss of life. Because how can a Black man like myself and so many others really trust and feel confident that police officers are really absolutely serving and protecting me, as opposed to lynching me or attempting to lynch me or apprehend me and do this type of things? I mean, it really damages this already tenuous relationship between the Black community and police.
And when you talk about the collusion, it's not even just the prosecutor. You're talking about the autopsy report in this case put the death down to cocaine-induced agitated delirium complicated by motor vehicle collision. So you've got, the people who are supposed to be filing and putting together autopsies getting involved. You have, frankly, media who just accept whatever the police statement is and report out what happened to people without questioning it too many times. I think that's changing now. In this bill, the George Floyd bill, one of the arguments is over whether there should be qualified immunity. There's been some debate. You have some conservatives who say don't put it in. But don't you think that there has to be personal liability? I mean, should police have to take out insurance so that they can have liability protection? Shouldn't there be some personal liability? Because it does feel like police are very confident that they can murder anyone they want and get away with it.
In the short term, the only thing that will change police behavior, that will modify police behavior, is when you expose them to additional liability, to personal, individual liability. When you scrape away that curtain of protection that they operate under. And believe you me, it plays into the minds of police officers. It definitely is impactful and meaningful that police officers enjoy some level of immunity. If you want to modify behavior, you have to begin to take away those protections, those artificially created protections from police. You would end up with a more professional police officer if that's what you're going for. I think most importantly, though, Joy, we got to move away from this policing model. We have to get to a public safety model and incorporate other disciplines, other professions, other specialists into the preservation and safety and sanctity of the communities.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And by the way, the excited delirium, if that sounded familiar to you viewers, it's because it was the same thing they tried with George Floyd, trying to use drugs, trying to use all of that. Do you also
think who were affected by excited delirium? We saw the video.
Exactly.
We heard Hollingsworth's excited delirium. They are guilty of what they accuse this dead man of, and it's inexcusable.
And last question to you: isn't this also a war on drugs issue? That police are they're involved in too many things that are either about a health crisis or they're about mental health. They're just involved in too many things. When you say change the whole policing model, doesn't that mean pulling police off of like 80% of what they're called out to do?
Yeah, that means reevaluating that which has been routine police response issues. We have to change that. It's just common sense. It's all part of an evolutionary process that's quite necessary, especially if we're working in the 21st century and dealing with a policing which goes back to slave catching. I mean, we can't rely on police agencies themselves to realize they have to change. It has to be forced. It has to be compelled. And sometimes it has to be legislated. And that's the importance of, even though it's not as significant and holistic as many people wish, that Justice and Policing Act will really form the basis for further movement in policing and shifting away from that policing model to a public safety model.
Yeah, and good police want that too. The ones who are actually professionals and aren't out there just wilding. Mark Claxton, thank you very much.